The relationship with Kevin, started with transactional, but it moved into somewhat of a friendship. He gave us his trust to build him a truck that would meet his needs. And in turn, the experience we gave him was one that he enjoyed. When we went out to visit him and film his experience, we became close. It was nice getting to know him and relate on a more human level. And ultimately at Lifted Trucks, that's what we try to do with all of our customers. We want this to be a relationship where you use the vehicle to enhance your lifestyle, whether that's going to the lake, going camping, however you want to use it. But we want that relationship to be one built on trust, authenticity, and respect. And it was cool that we got to capture that with Kevin, and it's one that we look to capture with all of our customers.
So for me, when I first heard about the Kevin Costner relationship, first of all, I was pretty surprised. And James and Dustin had told me that they went out and met him and that he's a really nice guy and a genuine guy. So I said, hey, do you think he would do a video? And Dustin said, I think that he would. So they talked to him and he said that, yeah, I'll help you guys out. I still didn't think it was gonna happen. I remember I got a Google invite and I said, okay, this just got a little bit more real. Then I booked flights. So I said, okay, we're going to Santa Barbara. Then we're in Santa Barbara and we're trying to get a hold of Kevin. We're out to dinner and he's not answering. So I'm like, this ain't happening. We're flying back home. Then in the morning, we get a text from Kevin. Hey, come on out. Stop and grab me a Danish or something. So we ended up grabbing a Danish, went to the property.
When we got to Kevin's house, we walked up to the front door and knocked on it. His managers answered, who we hadn't met before, but they were very pleasant. We said, hey, nice to meet you. We're here to film with Kevin today. And they said, Kevin doesn't live here. We all looked at each other like, I'm pretty sure he does. This is the address. And they said, no, he doesn't live here. And so ultimately they were messing with us and they just had a little fun right off the bat. But it kind of knocked the nerves off right away, and the rest of the day just sailed really smoothly, and we made some new friends and had a lot of fun with it.
And we went out back, and I grew up in Hawaii, so I see this perfect right-hand port brake and I'm laser focused on it. I want to go out surfing. I realize I'm there to work, but I want to surf. And so I go running across his yard to film the surfers on the point and realize that it's a soft pool cover that matched the deck. So I dropped down, ran across the pool cover with my phone.
And Mike was so engulfed in what the surfers were doing in the video he was taking that he didn't even recognize that he was headed right towards the pool cover. And, in pure Mike fashion, he stepped on the pool cover, but he kept his balance and continued getting the shot all the way through. And immediately, it shocked everybody, but luckily there was no damage created, and it started the day off on a humorous foot right off the bat. So we had fun with that.
There was a table out in his backyard, and we're sitting there, and I could see Kevin walking out, and I was, I'll be honest, we've met a lot of famous people over the years, but this was different. To be honest, I was kind of starstruck. He came out, sat down next to us and started talking about his experience. And then he had some ideas on where we could go on his property. So he showed us a couple of areas. He said, hey, you can back the Raptor down or my truck down on the driveway. You could back it up and we could get a sunset shot by the fire pit. He showed us some locations that we could use, and we ended up using all of them. And it was just such a natural experience. We had this little outline, but in my mind, I'm like, we have one of the best storytellers on the planet. We're not gonna use a script. I let him see it just to kind of look at what we were thinking. He glanced at it for about 15 seconds, put it in his back pocket, and just talked. What really struck me about Kevin was how tight he is with his family and how outdoorsy these people are. And none of them are entitled. They're all hardworking. His kids are hardworking. His son's out there working, cleaning off his truck. His other son is, building things in the yard. I mean, these guys are workers. And it just really struck me what a great dad this guy is.
When we got there, Kevin had a few other obligations that we didn't know about. So he told us when we got there, hey, from 11 to 12, I've got a meeting that I've got to sit down for. And I thought it was a Zoom call that maybe he had with partners that weren't there, but he said, do you want to come? And we said, sure, we'll go, what's up? So we followed him to his guest house, and in his guest house was his editing crew that's working on his project Horizon, and they were actually presenting the first editions of the trailer that they were going to release within the next couple of weeks.
And I look, and the only chair available is this like cushy love seat right by Kevin. And I'm like, I'm not going in there and sitting right there. So I just stood there and he goes, hey, come on in, there's a seat right here. And I'm like, oh man, okay. So, you know, I'm still a little nervous. So I took my shoes off and walked in, and I'm sitting there in this cushy love seat. And I have my feet up, and all of a sudden Kevin puts his feet up. So his feet are like 3 inches from me.
It was fun to see Kevin, who knew every scene, every line, the right music to go with it, the right way to edit and cut it, really, really lean in and throw some suggestions out there and help them to take the best parts from each of the different edits and the different trailers to make them into the one that eventually got launched. So it was really fun. It was a surprise for us to get a glimpse into what it's like to be on the creative side of a Hollywood blockbuster with Kevin Costner, and that was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that I'll never forget.
He did invite me to surf too. He said, hey, I have boards, I have wetsuits. If you want to go out there, you can. I said, man, if there's time, I'm 100% paddling out there. We ran out of time, got dark. We got our last little sunset shot. And he said, you know, he goes, I was impressed that you didn't go out there and you put work first. And so that meant a lot to me. And then when we all left, he came up and he gave us a bro hug and invited us back. And I couldn't even believe it. I mean, what a great guy, what a great family, great kids. And it was just an amazing experience, and I can't wait to do it again.
They have a saying, you know, it's a work hard, play hard, and I think it's drive harder, which I kind of like that, you know, work hard, play hard, drive harder.